Okay, here is Commando Joe, and this is a massive 17-hand, 5-year-old thoroughbred gelding by Greeley's Conquest, who I've had a few of, and I've always really liked, and they're by Mr. Greeley, who have also had one or two by Mr. Greeley and directly, and I've also really liked those horses. So this is a line that I've had good experiences with. They've always been really cute, Amy-friendly type horses, and this horse is absolutely no exception to that. In fact, he's probably the most amateur-friendly horse that I've had out of this line of horses. He's just ridiculously quiet and easy and all the things. But I will say, as we get going here, that he just had his feet done the other day. So he got transitioned out of a full set of racing plates into barefoot behind, and shoes got changed around up front now with some aluminum shoes on. And besides that, I do think he is a little bit just muscularly tight from and finishing up his racing career, especially being such a huge horse. So yes, he's a little bit tight just through his body, and he is also now a little bit footsore as he's adjusting to being barefoot behind and changing things around up front. So yes, all those things are going on. But I didn't think that he was. I thought he was a degree of tightness where moving and working would actually be beneficial to him. Sometimes I get on them and they're just so tight, like my gray mare that I talked about yesterday. They just need some more time off. But actually, I think this horse, it will help him to loosen up by doing some work. And I've sort of skipped the whole small solo turnout to get used to turnout process that I do with most of them. And I've just chucked him out in the field with Billy's horse Cowboy to sort of be his adult buddy and show him how to do this big field turnout thing, because I just think that the moving around for him is going to be really important. He's just such a huge horse, and he just needs his muscles just need to loosen up a little bit. But nonetheless, he actually, and all of this makes sense because he literally just ran on the 13th. So he ran just a little bit over a week ago, and so certainly, he's got a little bit of letting down and loosening up to do, and all those things will come. I have no doubt that he will come through all this pretty quickly, actually. And he does have good feet. It's just a matter of, his feet just got done the day before. They just need a little bit of time to adjust to all the new things, all the newness that's going on. He ran 29 times. He made 130K on the track. And he was last running at Belterra, and he just sort of ran out of racing conditions to be at. He was running sort of at the bottom of the barrel, and as the meet was coming to the end, there was nowhere else for him to go. So his connections were just looking to let him move along while he's sound and healthy and all the things into his next career. And so here he is, and I'm very happy to have him. I very, very rarely have 17-hand horses. It actually sort of scares me. I get more afraid of heights the older I get. So anything over 16.3 sort of freaks me out a little bit. And I was not really joking, actually, when I was telling Billy that he was going to be doing the first ride on this horse. But actually, when I met him a couple of days ago, the horse is just so genuinely kind and quiet and just unbelievably easygoing that I decided it was not necessary for Billy to ride this horse first. I could certainly do it on my own. And sure enough, I mean, he was as I thought he would be. I mean, just outrageously quiet, very simple. This is a great first restart for somebody who's looking to get their first horse to, restart and develop as they come along. He has just a fantastically quiet brain. I like everything about him. So his right lead canter right now is his preferred canter. If you were watching when we went to the right the other way, I actually could literally just like drop the reins and put my hands on my hips, and he was doing this like really fun, cute, like, I don't know, lope basically around the ring like a Western pleasure horse, just so rhythmic and quiet and self-contained, literally requiring absolutely no help from his rider whatsoever. You could literally just sit there kind of like a couch potato. Now, his left lead is not coming quite as naturally to him right now with a rider up, out in the field. He canters on the left lead all day long, but he's a little bit tight. So for whatever reason, the left lead is just his harder one to find right now. So I don't, obviously, like, he's not trying to be bad. He's not being bad. He's just sort of, this is where he's at. So I'm just trying to meet him where he's at. And so I'm using the pole to help encourage getting the left lead, which you can see there. He did a change over the pole, which was very, very smart and a really good boy. He is so quiet, though, that I actually just like couldn't keep him going here. So we come back down to the trot, which is fine. And then he picks up the right lead, which is also fine. So just back to the pole we go. He opts to stay on his right lead that time, which wasn't really surprising because, right before that he had broke, then picked up the other lead. So a little discombobulated. But so my goal with that is just sort of to stay out of the way, to present him on the path I want him on to help him find his balance, but he's got to figure out the footwork. So I'm just trying to stay behind him and let him do the job. And so there he did another change over the pole. That was a really good boy. So I was quite happy with that. And then so now this is the second time he's cantering on the left lead, and actually this feels like a much better quality canter. He's more balanced. So that was very good. I was quite happy with that. And then I went to drop my reins like I did to the right, just to let him canter around on the buckle. But the second I dropped my reins, he was like, oh, great, let's pause. So no problem. He's just showing his natural tendencies of what a quiet horse he is. Also, I just want to point out that this horse has a 10 for a tail. I mean, I was almost expecting the first time I brushed it to like pull a fake tail out of it or something, because it's just like such a voluptuously beautiful tail, but it's all real. So obviously this is a horse that you can ride around with a big old loop in the rein on the buckle, as we are doing here. You can collect, he's also quite soft in his mouth. It's not like he's hard in his mouth and you have to ride him with a loop in the rein. He's very easy he easily developed some sense of the connection and was giving me some roundness when I was asking for it. So it's really nice when they're that versatile, when they're soft enough in the mouth that they want to be round, but also they're quiet and steady enough and self-contained enough that you can also just drop the reins and ride them around on the buckle. That's always a really nice combination. And so there, that was a right lead canter transition with literally a loop in the rein. I mean, no contact whatsoever. And then here I'm just trying to show off how magnificent this horse is. Doing a canter around with no hands on the reins. It's so fun for me when I get to do this, because obviously it's pretty rare. I mean, how many young green horses can you just get on for the first time in a new place and like drop the reins and go for a lope around the ring? So I think that's pretty extraordinary. So it's fun for me just to like sit on it and be like, wow, this horse is extraordinary, that he'll just sort of be so happy and quiet to let you do these things. And on the ground, I mean, his personality on the ground exactly matches his personality in the tack. Just a big old gentle giant, totally a sweetheart, very interested in what people are doing in like a very kind, gentle sort of way. He was excellent for the farrier. He loads well, he ships well, he stands on cross ties well. And he's very big, but very, very easy to handle on the ground and in the tack.